Hello, this is editing Matthew, and I just wanted to say that if you don't want to hear me yapping about the freaking lore of how these games were made and my personal reactions to them, just skip ahead to 22 minutes and 45 seconds. Then I'll get to the actual business on you know Hello Neighbor 3, possible cancellation of Hello Neighbor 2, hashtag save HN2. Thanks, goodbye. Or continue with the video, I guess. Yeah, this is a video completely unscripted. I'm just going to be talking about whatever the heck I want, well, actually, if you read the title, you'd know this is about the situation with the once popular video game Hello Neighbor, just Hello Neighbor, you know. Yeah, there's a big problem right now. They just announced Hello Neighbor 3, probably the worst thing they've ever done, because, well, they never finished the second one. They never even gave it an ending. It's $70 for the deluxe edition, and yet you don't have your promised adaptive AI. 5 hours again. 5 hours, $70. That doesn't work out. And then also there's the issue where it's just the ending is basically a placeholder. It's a little cliffhanger. This kid, his name like Aaron, he gets he's escaping with you, and then the neighbor, Mr. Peterson, whatever, he gets crushed by a crow, and then his son runs back to save him, and you get knocked out and dragged away. And that's the ending to a $70, technically $40 if you don't want some of those extra DLCs game, which is 5 hours. Just wanted to say that again. So, I guess now I'm going to want to do the classic YouTuber bait thing, where I go into the history of this very bizarre and troubled series. I'm gonna have to probably edit some of my mistakes because I have a bad memory, but I did actually kind of live through it. I grew up with these games. I remember, I believe it was 2014, that at the time Dynamic Pixels, I think the studio is called, started working on prototyping really animations. I'll show it on screen for this incredible looking video game, very bare bones looking, where you would try to enter your neighbor's house and steal a red cube, and you could like move furniture, whatever. Then this crazy AI neighbor would just like chase you, and it was very atmospheric, very scary, but also he's very intelligent, showcasing what would be definitely the most advanced AI in any video game ever, because their whole thing was they were going to have an adaptive AI. This was further showcased in actually it was either late 2015 or early 2016. I'll fix it in editing. And the thing is that there's this like prototype trailer, announcement trailer for Hello Neighbor. They had a Kickstarter and everything. Actually got picked up by big time video game publisher Tinybuild. And it was just incredible. Everything from the 2014 prototype in this animation, all scripted, of course. I'll get into that later. And but yeah, you like start out throwing this tomato on this neighbor's window. He runs out to clean it off. Very dynamic, fun-looking gameplay. And then you sneak around. He figures you out, and then at the end, you see this mysterious, awesome basement. You try to get in it, and he kidnaps you and buries you alive. Oh, so nostalgic. I remember seeing that trailer, honestly. If only the game actually was just like the trailer. Don't know why it wasn't. Because what happened, so we got the pre-alpha, I think just months after that trailer came out, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was a year. And it was pretty awesome, very unfinished, but it was more or less, they seemed to know what they were doing. The AI actually worked well, although it was buggy, but it really was looking like it could become possibly the most advanced AI we've ever seen in video game history. And yeah, YouTubers flocked over to play it. Of course, you got your Markiplier types, you got your Dantdm minecart. Oh, I love Dantdm, epic guy. So glad he just destroyed KSI, Mr. Beast, and Logan Paul. That was very epic. And then you got your third type. What am I talking about? You get it. YouTubers, PewDiePie probably, JackSepticeye. They all played it. And they had a good time. Kind of confused. If you got into the basement, there wasn't actually anything there. Kind of funny, but yeah. And then after that, came Alpha 1, no longer in the pre-alpha, so moving up significantly. It was crazy. The neighbor's house skyrocketed. It was like, what, 6 stories, I think? The original, you only had 1 story available to explore. Now, although it looked like a lot, you could only now make it up to a 2nd story, but 2nd story, that's an improvement on the first. Crazy puzzles. You got a shark, kind of confusing puzzles, like with the shark in water, you like turn off this heater and it freezes it, but it's not like the winter, it's like room temperature. I really don't understand what they're thinking. It had its quirks though. Maybe you could say that you were, even at that point, we were already starting to see some of the problems that would come up. The worst thing about it is the AI was already an infinite downgrade from the pre-alpha. A lot of people didn't actually notice this. Yeah, 8-Bit Ryan found out that once you got caught by the neighbor, his music would repeat forever and ever, and he just know where you were. So there wasn't really an AI. They're just trying to make it seem like an intelligent AI that would always actually technically know where you were and be constantly chasing you. Oh well. So yeah. That point, then the next release, the next development was Alpha 2, of course, and really weird, not necessarily bad. It was honestly an improvement to Alpha 1 in my opinion, but the graphics were like just completely different, totally new style. Don't know why they threw it out. I guess maybe they used some Unreal assets in it or something. They want to go for their own thing. But it's like there's just why start everything over from scratch? People already liked what you had going for the game before. Finally, you could go into the basement. That was nice. And YouTubers returned to it again. Then Alpha 3 comes out, and the game makes a complete turn for the worse. House, in patch 2, it actually shrunk in size. Patch 3, next thing you know, it is. I said that patch 1 house, I mean Alpha. I've been saying Alpha this whole time. What are you talking about? Anyway, it's like, it's just, it's too big. You have like a freaking roller coaster and like a windmill. Absolutely crazy. It's like a mentally ill person designed the house. I guess that's what they're going for. I mean, Mr. Peterson, neighbor guy, is supposed to be mentally ill, but doesn't make for a good level. Yeah. And the puzzles, absolute trash. Like you'd like find keys, magnets, whatever you needed for puzzles in like crazy corners of the map with like crazy hieroglyphics, cannot speak. Just somehow you're supposed to translate it and figure whatever out. Yeah. Then patch 4. Next thing you know, patch 5 was really actually turned into then a beta, and all they're doing now is they're just adding on to this literally the worst house they came out with. If only they used some of the earlier material and stuck with that, but nope, they're sticking with the absolute worst thing they invented. And then it's just so weird. It's like you have like these power-up abilities, fear rooms, crazy stuff. I could probably watch videos on it, and I'll link them down below. But it's just how do I put this? At that point, famously Markiplier actually criticized the game, and he just left. He never touched it, hardly ever talked about the series again.
You know what? I think that's enough mayhem for one episode. I'm gonna end this one here. I criticize it a lot just because, like, there's a lot more stuff. But I can't honestly say that the stuff is better. And that's the one thing that I'll say about it, because if I'm expecting as the game develops it's gonna get, like, more logical and sensible, and, you know, it just seems even more nonsensical than it was before. So there's a lot more, but it's less refined, you know what I mean?
So, I'm back. Oh yeah, puzzles as awful as always, I swear to God. Oh man, very confusing. Other stuff that is wrong with it. Let's see, the story, very confusing. I guess it's Peterson's guy, his family died. One by one, brother pushed sister off a roof after the wife died, and sister dies. Neighbor guy locks up brother, or his son, Aaron, in the basement, because, I don't know, he's afraid the police will take him away or something. I really don't know. Yeah. And it was received very poorly. Everybody was just confused at that point. Why did they leave those amazing early prototypes? So now I've been yapping way too slow. So, you got your, let's see, the next thing that came out, so that's 2017 release of Hello Neighbor. It was, and then, so you got, in 2018, around a year later, you got Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek, playing as, like, Maya, the sister, I mean, of Aaron, before she died. Just finally explains that no longer is it left up so ambiguous to be left up to, like, MatPat type theorizers. Love MatPat, by the way. You should totally, everybody loves MatPat. What am I talking about? Anyway, but I mean, it's like, who asked for it, basically, you know? That's kind of the whole thing I can say about all the next upcoming games. You got 2019 Secret Neighbor. It's like Among Us, but you play as kids, try to get in the neighbor's basement. One of you is somehow not like a 4-foot tall child, but like a fully grown, like 6-foot, probably taller, mustachioed man. Really weird. And then finally, I think it was in 2020, they started working on, let's see, Hello Guest. Yeah, people had to solve this crazy puzzle. It's like an ARG type thing where they had to, like, it's like augmented reality game. And, like, so in, like, Secret Neighbor, players figured out this whole light puzzle thing that gave them this website URL code that you could enter into, like, a web browser, and you would get a download for this new Hello Guest game, which was actually pretty good. Started getting people's hopes up. Really plays this security guard in a amusement park, and very bare bones. Luckily, it was really approved upon in almost every way. Still bare bones in the second update. I'll just put on screen what they call the second update. That was I think 2021. Either that or late 2020 that came out, that they updated that. And then at that point, they're like, it's like finally they get smart. It's like, you know, we never really gave the fans what they wanted, what we promised all the way back in like 2016, 2015, whatever. We should go back to that core, sneak into a neighbor's house, adaptive AI kind of stuff. And so they take this Crow Man, who's the antagonist of those, like, alphas, and then they just take him and they throw him into this new Hello Neighbor 2 game. Crazy. Hello Neighbor 2, like, sequel to the original. So, you're like, the house is old, it's all rotted out, and the neighbor's kidnapped now. I guess you care about him. You're like a journalist named Quentin, and you sneak into the house, and you try to save the neighbor now. It was actually very... the original Hello Neighbor 2 build, the very first alpha, it was all right. Very frustrating though. Maybe it was almost bad, honestly. Amazing thing is, a lot of people don't know this, but they actually updated it to Alpha 2. Yes, that would have been Alpha 2 of Hello Neighbor 2. And they just redid the house, better level design, fixed bugs, made all the puzzles easier to understand, and really dove into this open world aspect where you'd follow this cat around and you pick candy and put it into some kid's basket to get the ending. Very creepy. Loved it. If I remember correctly, it ended with how's your weather? They always had the craziest endings. I swear to God, I cannot understand it. Maybe I'm just not smart enough. I really don't know. But yeah, so beyond that, you also, around that time, I think you got Hello Engineer. It's like freaking Banjo-Kazooie type, nuts and bolts type knockoff with Hello Neighbor. Nobody asked for it. I don't know why they really do these things. It's just, they're just crazy sometimes, I swear. I guess it's just for money. But still very, very bizarre. But then, ignoring that, back to Hello Neighbor 2, it's like, then they start sending out these amazing, like, devlogs and trailers for this, and it just looks incredible. They're really taking advantage of Unreal Engine 4 in 2022, and they showed multiple neighbors. It's not really a scary game anymore, but still, what's important is it's atmospheric, and they showcase finally that adaptive AI. Actually, they went as far as not even just having an adaptive AI that's self-learning, but even a neural network that anybody who played the game, it would learn from over time, which was bonkers crazy. They shouldn't have done that. That's insane. They couldn't even get the freaking first AI. That's never been done before. Now they're going to some freaking, like, Skynet type Terminator take over the world kind of level. Like, what the heck? It's just some game, like, really insane. But whatever. I sure hope that doesn't go poorly or anything. It went poorly. I just remember the beta was pretty cool. It was an open world, so that was so brilliant. If you were, like, confused at one house with one neighbor, you could just give up at the time being and go to another house. Some puzzles were even optional. There were multiple ways to get different items to beat the game, and even if I remember correctly, yeah, every neighbor would have a key or item that you'd use to progress to beat the main museum, which the neighbor was hiding out in ever since his house got condemned by the police. I know, crazy story. I don't get these stories either. You just have to follow with me. It was pretty cool. I'm not smart. I don't really understand this stuff. But yeah, also you're a journalist. Forgot to mention that. Yeah, you're a journalist. That's pretty clever, because I don't know, that makes sense. Journalists probably sneak into people's houses. I don't know. I'm not a journalist. But yeah. So then finally, 2022, the game releases December 6th, and it is good. But there are problems. Keep in mind that they charged a lot for it. It was $40 for just the base game, $70 for some DLCs and like this helicopter freaking drone you could fly around. That's a lot of money to ask for, and sadly, the game was only 4 hours long for the main game. Each DLC maybe an hour and a half. And the truth is, the main game was actually pretty good, kind of buggy, but at least the puzzles were really fun. Loved the puzzles. Finally not confusing anymore. Even I could eventually figure them out, and I'm stupid. But like, it's like, come on. 4 hours of content. What do we get after that? Let me tell you what, we didn't get an ending. Sure, every piece of media has to have an ending, right? Nope, apparently not this. It's just some cliffhanger. But yeah, DLCs, though, were actually made by Steel Wool Studios, who just basically finished up making this pretty bad game. You may have heard of it, called Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Do not know why Tinybuild hired them to make these DLCs. They sucked. The one in the library is one in the library, one in the school, one is a drone that just you can use in the main game. But the problem is the one in the library didn't even have an ending. They didn't even get around to making an actual ending. At least, I mean, I don't mean like as in the main game where it was just a bad cliffhanger. I mean literally you'd like get to the last level kind of thing where you're like climbing out of sewers, and it would just bug out, and there'd just be no way to progress, and because they literally never bothered adding an ending. They fixed that in an update, but that's the bare minimum for a base release, so they should have really had that. So yeah, updates. Thank God, the future of the series. Oh my God, it was amazing. At first, every 2 weeks, there would be a new update. It was like they were apologizing to the fan base or something for all the years of crap. I could go into detail about every single one. I'm not going to. I've already been yapping for too long. But it's pretty great. You got AI improvements, just generally new features. Like if you walk in paint, you leave a trail. Neighbors could track you down. They added now that like the taxidermist guy Otto could now use traps, like bear traps on you. And just bug fixes, and eventually even like this new tiny little sewer area where you could get like a coin. Oh yeah, they added tapes. How could I forget? Teasing like cool new story expansions too. And it's like, yeah, you can find them throughout the town. Okay, and now, but the thing is, eventually there's a long wait, and then you got patch 9, which was amazing. You could go through this tunnel. Oddly enough, it would take all your items. I never really understood that, but you go through the tunnel, and there's like this forest, and like there's like they finally added back that guest crow guy they always tease that was in those like Hello Guest prototype things, and he was awesome. Gotta love him. Very, actually, only slightly scary thing in the whole game. Very atmospheric. Loved it a lot. And then this is where everything makes a turn for the worse. Around this time, they announced Hello Neighbor RBO, which fans, I guess by just guesswork, figured out it probably stood for Raven Brooks Online. Raven Brooks, I guess that's the name of that town or something. Yeah. And then online, it was like multiplayer. Whatever. I mean, I don't really care. I'm eating up the Hello Neighbor 2 updates. But then next thing you know, just this morning, what day is this? I'll put that up on screen. Video game history, they just announced Hello Neighbor freaking 3. They never finished Hello Neighbor 2. They never finished Hello Neighbor 2. They stole our money and they went on to make a 3rd installment. I guess so. Well, I guess this is it, guys. They're finally gonna make up for all the times they stole our money. Yep, so patch 10 seems to have been canceled. I've actually been very suspicious for months now. I've actually been going on to, they have a Discord server. I've been warning people because I feel bad because people really seem to be hopeful and are starting to wonder why there isn't a patch 10. They think it's taking a long time, but it really seems like it was canceled. And this is where I go into my final point of the video. I hope I can get my freaking 3 YouTube subscribers, my collective like 5 viewers, to rise up and boycott. Hello. To rise up and boycott the studio, Urigas and Tinybuild Studios, so they no longer think it's okay to just repeatedly release these really expensive video games that are like really short and just kind of based off of false advertising. Yeah. What is it people have been saying about hashtag save HN2? Yeah, I support it. Goodbye.